In a twist that has rocked Buckingham Palace to its core, Sophie and Catherine have formed an unbreakable alliance, sending shockwaves through the monarchy. This clandestine pact now threatens the very foundations of royal protocols and potentially plunges the British throne into unprecedented turmoil. Discover the secret meetings, coded messages, and royal whispers that birthed this daring partnership and the impending storm it heralds for Camilla. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. Within the labyrinthine corridors of Buckingham Palace, where history seems to stand still while time races forward, Sophie and Catherine found solace in the shadows. It was here, in the dimly lit corners hidden from prying eyes, that they embarked on a journey that would challenge everything and everyone they knew. Their conspiratorial encounters were artful in their simplicity. Casual encounters at garden parties transformed into whispered dialogues of profound consequence. They discussed the inevitable change the monarchy must face, a sentiment fueled by their shared belief that shadows of yesterday would eclipse the promise of tomorrow unless a bold new course was charted. Catherine, with her radiant poise, embodied an elegance that belied the fervour bubbling beneath her composed surface. Sophie, subtle and astute, recognized a kindred spirit whose ambitions mirrored her own. Together, they encrypted their thoughts into clandestine messages disguised as innocuous gestures, delicately passed at gala dinners and state functions. This ingenious exchange became their lifeline, a tapestry of silent communication amid the deafening formality of royal engagements. With each surreptitious nod or fleeting glance, they laid the foundation of a burgeoning revolution, a legacy of whispers that defied the dominant chorus of tradition. As these messages evolved into shared truths, a poignant moment unfolded. Sophie, in a rare vulnerability, painted her vision of a new monarchy, with words that echoed deeply within Catherine's own aspirations. The bond between them was no longer merely strategic, it became a shared conviction, a promise steeped in the urgency of reformation and the hope of transformation. Their ambition was raw and potent, driven by the stark contrast between what was and what could be, an unyielding intent to shield the crown from history repeating its scandals and to navigate forthcoming crises with unprecedented resolve. Yet, amid their surreptitious alliance, the air grew thick with tension. Their newfound solidarity was met with divergence within palace walls, perceived by some as a beacon of renewal, by others a harbinger of discord. Whispers of this fortuitous union seeped through the ancient stone, reaching the ears of senior royals, and kindling debate. Was this daring endeavour to be celebrated or curtailed? Insiders, privy to inklings of this seismic shift, began to speculate. Rumours, like elusive phantoms, danced through the halls, each carrying tales of rebellion and rebirth. Some saw the unfolding drama as an opportunity for unity and modernization, while others, with vested interests entrenched in tradition, dreaded the shifting tides. As the alliance strengthens, the tremor felt by senior royals spirals into a potential crisis. But what drives Camilla into exile discussions? Surrounded by a sea of whispers, Camilla finds herself perched on a precipice, her position seemingly compromised by Sophie and Catherine's surging influence. Unbeknownst to the public, private struggles and past encounters are now haunting Camilla, pushing her into conversations that could alter her legacy forever. It began with hushed alliances forming in shadowed hallways, Sophie and Catherine's unexpected bond quickly becoming an undeniable force. Camilla, once at the center, was now orbiting around a gravity she could neither ignore nor control. Her world, meticulously maintained, had cracked, revealing jagged edges. The alliance's announcement was like the sudden shattering of glass, leaving Camilla to pick up pieces amidst a storm of speculation. Behind palace doors, tension simmered like a pot on the brink of boiling over. Royal staff, once loyal and steadfast, now cast furtive glances and whispered in corners. These silent exchanges were not lost on Camilla, their unspoken doubts crowding her every decision. Yet in her heart of hearts, it was the echoes of past controversies scratching at her consciousness that cut the deepest. Scandals she thought buried long ago now seemed intent on clawing their way back into the light. In the corridors of power, history is never truly forgotten. Each past misstep, each whispered doubt, felt like an anchor dragging her down as she struggled to sail forward. Her relationships within the family strained under the weight of perception and expectation. Meetings with senior royals that once held the promise of unity now felt loaded with an electric tension, words measured with the precision of a tightrope walker. Wary eyes watched her every move, dissecting intent and inflection for signs of weakness or wavering resolve. Even her attempts to bridge divides were met with skepticism. The hollow echo of the crown seemed heavier than ever as those she once confided in withdrew to the periphery, their own fears of the shifting sands of power guiding them towards safety. Emotionally, the burden of maintaining composure when facing inquisitive gazes was immense. Each public appearance, every poised smile, required an exhausting choreography of heart and mind that left her weary behind a polished facade. Isolation loomed, a vast chasm opening between Camilla and the world she inhabited. Trusted allies, once constants in her complex world, hesitated, their loyalties slowly dissolving in the face of new dynamics and whispered alliances. At this crossroads, Camilla faced a future she hadn't envisioned, shadowed by uncertainty yet filled with the relentless determination of a queen not yet ready to relinquish her reign. With her confidantes dwindling and Sophie and Catherine's coalition gaining momentum, the moment of decision draws near. But what role do the rest of the royals play in this evolving saga? Behind the palace walls lies a realm where allegiances and rivalries shift like London's fog. As Camilla contemplates the unthinkable, a chess game of astounding complexity unfolds. Who among the royals and courtiers will stand by her side, and who will whisper treachery in calculated tones? Delve into the treacherous waters of allegiance and betrayal. Within this intricate web of alliances, Camilla's position is both emboldened and endangered. On one side, she finds an unexpected camaraderie in Lady Rosalind, an astute strategist with a discerning eye for courtly maneuvers. Rosalind's whispered counsel becomes a balm amid the swirling uncertainties, her loyalty as steadfast as the pillars of the ancient palace itself. Yet lurking in the shadows is the ever-watchful Duke of Kendal, whose smile conceals a dagger. His ambitions are as vast as the halls he roams, and with every furtive glance, it becomes clear his intentions are as inscrutable as they are menacing. In the candlelit recesses of the palace, secret meetings convene, glances sharp and words sharper. Hushed voices plot and whisper, weaving intricate strategies in the quiet tapestry of night. These clandestine gatherings reveal the fraying threads of courtly allegiances, as rival factions jockey for influence and dominance. It is here, in these dimly lit alcoves, that the seeds of unrest are sown, where allies become adversaries with the flicker of a flame. Amidst it all, Camilla's gaze is steady, calculating the moves in this grand game, her mind a sanctuary of unspoken plans and burgeoning resolve. Yet it is the Queen herself, a figure both revered and adrift, whose leanings remain an enigma wrapped in regal grace. Though her every gesture speaks of indomitable strength, there lies beneath the surface a tempest of emotion carefully masked by her public visage. Her inner circle watches keenly, passing her reactions for signs, each word she utters weighed as heavily as the crown upon her head. Her silence is more telling than any proclamation, revealing a woman caught between tradition and upheaval, as her realm teeters on the edge of an unknown future. Caught in this storm of intrigue is Prince Charles, a man torn between the institution that defines his very identity and a devotion to the woman who shares his life. He paces the grand corridors with a heavy heart, his thoughts a turbulent sea of loyalty and duty. The pressure of his dual allegiances threatens to fracture him, as he struggles to reconcile his steadfast commitment to royal decorum with the unyielding love that binds him to Camilla. His every action scrutinized, Charles finds himself at a crossroads, with paths leading both towards honor and heartbreak. Outside these opulent walls, the court of public opinion looms, a beast both unpredictable and untamed. Its roar is fed by inside leaks, each morsel of gossip eagerly devoured and regurgitated by a media circus that strides the fine line between reality and rumor. The weight of speculation presses down heavily on the monarchy, distorting truths and fanning the flames of controversy. A misstep could mean disaster, a victory tainted by scandalous overtones, as the eyes of the world pierce through the veil of sanctity that the palace so desperately strives to maintain. Within the halls of power, dramatic confrontations erupt, crackling with the electricity of conflicting loyalties and simmering dissent. The palace becomes a crucible of emotion, where betrayal and fidelity clash in a timeless dance. Faces contort with disbelief, voices raised in heated defiance as once steadfast allies turn their swords inward. It is here, amid the tumult, that the true test of steadfastness emerges, where every whispered promise and broken vow tips the scales of destiny. With pressure mounting both within and outside the palace walls, conversations grow darker, more desperate, setting the stage for an unprecedented course of action. The British monarchy's saga is no stranger to conflict, secrecy, and sudden shifts in power. As Camilla's drama unfolds, echoes of past royal rifts reverberate through the hallowed corridors, warning of both disasters and salvations wrought by history. Dive deep into the annals of regal feuds, tracing patterns that could foresee the monarchy's next chapter. In the grand tapestry of time, history spins the stories of kings and queens who have soared to the zenith of power only to plummet into obscurity. One needs only to glance back at the tumultuous reign of King Edward VIII, whose love for an American divorcee, Wallis Simpson, changed the fate of the monarchy in ways unforeseen. It was a scandal that shook the very pillars of royal protocol, forcing Edward to choose between the crown and his heart. But this is far from an isolated chapter in the annals of royalty. It is a recurring motif, a dance macabre between duty and desire, where personal will must often bend to the indomitable demands of tradition and state. Among the many tales of exiled royals cloaked in whispers and conjecture is that of Mary, Queen of Scots, who found herself a prisoner within stranger waters. Torn from her homeland, ensnared in the web of political machinations that coveted her throne, Mary's life was a tempest of betrayals. Each promise given was a platitude painted in false colours, a stark reminder of the cost of sovereignty bound by silken chains. The landscape of the past is littered with such exiles, those who were cast into the shadows when their ambition or vulnerability inflamed the fears and jealousies of those wielding power. These were not mere footnotes. Their personal tragedies were written in the ledger of royal lineage, felt through the generations. But what of the emotional weight borne from such fissures in the royal facade? Hearts sacrificed at the altar of duty, dreams quashed beneath the heavy hand of hereditary expectation. The silent tears of Anne Boleyn in the Tower, forsaken by love, haunted by the spectre of the axe. Such stories echo down the corridors of history, resonant with a mournful dignity that transcends time, whispering warnings to their successors. In every fracture, there lies a tale of hope intertwined with despair, a testament to the human spirit's unyielding will to endure amidst soul-crushing adversity. Yet, amidst the ruin and wreckage, what lessons are seized upon by those who study the shifting tides of power? Reflective minds ponder the fates of monarchs past, gleaning guidance from their missteps and triumphs. Historians paint vivid pictures of what might be, their words both cautionary and enlightened, turning the lens of yesterday upon today's uncertain horizon. As history may repeat itself, they argue, knowledge serves as an armor stronger than steel, a beacon illuminating paths away from the brink of ruin. And so, the question reverberates in hushed tones within majestic chambers. What insights offer these glimpses into the royal mirror of time? Scholars continue to speculate with fervent zeal. proffering that the echoes of history are not mere shadows but guides, urging current leaders to forge paths anew, or else stumble into the inextricable cycles of folly. The past, they insist, is neither a shackle nor a fate to be blindly repeated, but a teacher of profound depths, if only its lessons are truly heeded. As history casts its shadow, a pivotal question looms: will Camilla repeat the mistakes of the past or forge a new destiny? As palace intrigue spills into the public arena, the nation's heart is torn, loyalties shift, voices rise, and the populace becomes a silent yet formidable jury in the unfolding royal saga. The ardent echoes of tradition clash with the hopes of a future untethered by monarchy's aged chains. In the soot-born streets and the bustling boulevards, staunch royalists emerge, their devotion unfaltering. Camilla is the rightful queen, they proclaim, voices imbued with a loyalty as fierce as the tides. Her journey from the shadows of scorn to regal acceptance mirrors their own dreams of ascension, a testament to resilience in the face of an ever-changing world. They see in Camilla an embodiment of destiny fulfilled, a phoenix of noble blood risen from the ashes of misjudged intentions. Yet, across the expanse of a divided land, another narrative takes root. Whispers of a modern monarchy gather force behind the luminous figures of Sophie and Catherine. To many, they are the beating heart of a rejuvenated dynasty, a promise of dignity and dynamism wrapped in the warmth of their common touch. They are seen not as mere consorts, but as beacons of a new dawn, a monarchy that listens, that evolves. The austerity of their image, tinged with genuine empathy, evokes visions of future monarchs conscientiously bridging centuries-old traditions to the exigencies of an enlightened age. Each public appearance, each endearing smile, sways undecided hearts yearning for authenticity and grace as the backbone of their nation's icon. Amidst this cacophony, media outlets wield their formidable power, crafting perceptions with the deftness of a painter's brush. Headlines become battlegrounds where narratives are spun with calculated finesse, propelling one side for a moment before shifting the focus to the other. The monarchy's tapestry is rewoven daily in ink and broadcast, heightening the stakes, fanning the flames of public discourse. The tabloids spin lore and legacy into volatile currency, each front page a roulette wheel where reputations rise and fall. Such unrelenting scrutiny bears heavily upon the public's trust in the monarchy's integrity, like a dam slowly yielding to pressure. Britons, once steadfast in their reverence for the crown, now find themselves mired in a tangled web of allegiances. Their dreams and ideals, once neatly aligned with stately pageantry, now reel with the reverberations of real-world complexities. For some, the monarchy remains the steadfast keystone of the British edifice. For others, a monument in need of transformation or toppling. Voices of cultural icons, artists and thinkers alike punctuate this unfolding narrative, offering commentary that ranges from fervent advocacy to pointed critique. Their insights resonate deeply, shaping societal conversations at kitchen tables and office corridors. Pundits and poets lend their words to the chorus of discord and hope, their platforms amplifying sentiments that simmer just beneath the surface. Social media, too, morphs into a sprawling digital agora where the public's voice finds its sharpest expression. Here, allegiances are declared with a hashtag, opinions forged in the crucible of retweets and memes. It is a realm where narratives are crafted with immediacy, virality their swift ally. This digital dialogue swells with every revelation, every whispered rumor, ensuring that the royal saga remains a staple in the annals of modern storytelling. As the public wrestles with historical allegiances and contemporary narratives, the ground beneath the monarchy shifts ever more, propelling us towards an unprecedented decision of exile. In a room draped in centuries of tradition and power, whispered negotiations unfold, seeking a resolution that could redefine the monarchy. The air was thick with anticipation, a living pulse that echoed against the stone walls of the covert venue, located in the heart of a city steeped in history. The setting, a guarded secret, served as a silent witness to the intrigue and solemnity unfolding within its confines. In the clandestine depths of this chamber, the fate of the monarchy hung like a delicate thread, ready to be woven into a new tapestry or torn apart under the strain of tradition and ambition. Around a table that had borne witness to generations of power plays, the key players assembled. Each face was a mask, carefully crafted to veil the motives simmering beneath. Camilla, her countenance serene yet resolute, was a formidable presence. Her opponents, some seasoned aristocrats, others sly political operators, sat across from her, eyes like daggers, sharp with agendas hidden beneath practiced smiles. They were eager to preserve their worlds, protect their legacies. Yet among the wolves, a single figure stood apart, a mediator, chosen for his exceptional diplomacy and impartiality. His presence both a calming influence and a stern reminder that failure was not an option. The room buzzed with tension as discussions began, an elaborate dance of verbal sparring and strategic maneuvering. Camilla, unyielding despite the storm swirling around her, laid bare her demands: justice, recognition, and an end to the exile that had cast a shadow over her life. But what of the crown's expectations? Her adversaries countered with their own heavy-handed proposals that demanded sacrifice and compromise, yet her steel gaze never wavered, reflecting an unwavering resolve that masked the turmoil stirring within. In the quiet recesses of her mind, Camilla wrestled with the gravity of the moment. The shadows of doubt were ever present, casting long and winding paths through her thoughts. Could this be the turning point, the culmination of endless struggle? As she pondered, clarity emerged from the chaos, weaving strength and vulnerability into a tapestry of resilience. Her past, haunted by battles both won and lost, now served as the foundation upon which she could step forward, eyes fixed firmly on the horizon. The negotiation room, a crucible of hopes and fears, resonated with an unexpected proposition, an unforeseen offer, extended like a lifeline through the tumultuous seas. It was unexpected, a daring move that realigned the dynamics of the debate. In this realm of give and take, Camilla's mind whirred with strategic calculations. What was she willing to forfeit in this game of power and principle? For every ambition, a personal sacrifice loomed a price to pay for the promise of peace. But not merely personal victory or defeat stood at stake. Each word spoken, every concession made or refused, carried the weight of a nation's future. And as those final hours drew on, with diplomacy playing its careful yet deadly dance, a transformation began to take shape in the minds of those present. In the struggle between what had been and what could be, a nascent possibility emerged, awaiting its dawn. As negotiations draw towards a potential resolution, the kingdom holds its breath, awaiting the fallout leading to a revelation of seismic proportions. Just when the ink seemed ready to dry, a stunning revelation alters everything. Like a thunderclap on a clear day, a hidden chapter in the royal saga is thrust into the glaring light, leaving all who dared to dream of compromise gasping for air. For months, negotiations had danced on a knife's edge, courageous and calculated strides toward reconciliation now. All undone by words spoken in hushed whispers. This day was meant for the finalization of accords, where pens hovered above paper, poised to seal a future less turbulent. Yet, within moments, the discussions of peace have dissolved into an arena of bewilderment and disbelief, as an unexpected truth unfurls its shattering complexity. Hearts once steadfast are caught in a storm of confusion, mingled with ancient anger, a fiery mix threatening to engulf the unity so painstakingly built. From the shadows where secret plans whisper, emerging trails leave no party unscathed. Age-old machinations, cloaked in the guises of loyalty and ambition, unravel before the very eyes they swore to deceive. With breath abated, courtiers and rulers catch sight of intentions skillfully obscured until now. The opulent halls, witnesses to countless victories and losses, now stand testament to deception's cruel hand. Panicked glances speak volumes over tongues Silenced by disbelief, a treacherous undercurrent now rising to surface level, changing the very arena of the royal stage. In a milieu of regal grandeur, emotions run raw and untamed. The royal family, pillars of tradition and duty, find themselves adrift. Faces once stoic in certainty twist with the agony of betrayal, their composure weathered by this storm of secrets. Shock ripples through the bloodlines, from the youngest heir whose innocence is now forever tinged, to the eldest, bound by the legacy of wisdom and now doubt. Anguished cries and incredulous shouts merge into a cacophony that echoes through the corridors of power. In these few moments, lifetimes of trust and loyalty are tested, immediate ramifications turning gentle familial ties into taut, agonizing threads. Amidst this chaos, alliances are re-evaluated as fractures emerge deep and jagged. Where once were comrades, gaps now yawn wide and insurmountable. Some, bound by common cause, gather strength and stitch new allegiances, daring to chart different courses through the turmoil. Others sense opportunity where others see impossibility, turning to fresh faces and offering newfound pacts, hands extended across newly drawn lines. The courtroom becomes a battleground of eyes and whispers, and the kingdom finds itself in a state of poignancy, a dramatic reshaping, fueled not by choice, but by necessity. The impact resonates far beyond immediate decisions, sending waves crashing into the walls of tradition. Succession plans, thought to be etched in destiny, are suddenly thrown into sharp relief, overwriting centuries of order and predictability. Customary roles, once deemed irrefutable, now find themselves recast or dispensed with entirely. As seeds of reform scatter to winds willing to nurture them, the royal institution contemplates a transformation, historical precedents bending beneath the weight of now. Yet, as tumultuous winds sweep away broken pieces of the past, teasers flicker across the horizon, documentaries poised to reveal shadows most have yet to conceive. Books, soon to spill royal secrets into eager hands, promise insights into the labyrinthine corridors of power, infusing new vigor and anticipation into a public thirsting for truth. Within these unscripted narratives lies knowledge, waiting to explode with revelations that have only begun to see the light. As these chronicles unfold, a world enraptured watches with bated breath the domino effects of decisions yet unmade. As the dust begins to settle, the world stands poised to witness the dawn of a transformative era in the British monarchy, ushering in a future filled with promise and uncertainty. Out of the ashes of upheaval, a new monarchy emerges, forged by strong wills and courageous hearts. Join us as we explore the lasting legacy of Sophie and Catherine's alliance and the indelible mark left by Camilla's struggles. This is just the beginning of a reimagined royal landscape, one poised to captivate and challenge for generations to come. The realm of royalty has always thrived on tales of strategy and cunning, but few figures have wielded its power as deftly as Sophie and Catherine. Their calculated moves, subtle yet decisive, redefined the very essence of what it meant to govern not with an iron fist, but with an unyielding sense of purpose and a compassionate heart. In their hands, the daunting task of modernization transformed into an opportunity, blending age-old traditions with the urgent call for change. It was their vision of the monarchy, not as a relic of the past, but as a living, breathing testament to resilience and adaptation that has left a lasting impact on the institution, echoing through the halls of time with powerful fortitude. Meanwhile, the spectre of Camilla looms large, her story of exile a poignant reminder of the kingdom's fraught history with change. Once silenced, she, through her struggles, inadvertently became an emblem of the taboo. Her absence spoke volumes, shattering preconceived notions and nudging the monarchy towards a profound introspection. It was her legacy that gradually dismantled long-standing biases, carving new pathways and mindscapes favorable to growth and modern sensibilities. As the winds of transformation swept through the royal corridors, practices once deemed sacrosanct were re-evaluated, and with them, the very identity of the crown slowly morphed into a creature of the present, synced with the tempo of modern society. From within the family, stories of personal growth further fueled this dynamic transformation, personal tales interwoven with the collective narrative of an entire nation. The omnipresent scrutiny and the juggernaut of public expectation catalyzed a profound evolution among individuals who were beacons of heritage and vessels of change. The younger generations, having inherited the kingdom burdened with expectations, found themselves navigating through a prism of public eye and personal rediscovery. Such journeys, defined by resilience and introspection, served to humanize a lineage often viewed from pedestals unscathed by ordinary life's vicissitudes. Yet the tale of transition is far from over. New challenges crest the horizon, shadowed by the decisions made today, tugging on the continuity of antiquity and its futuristic reimagining. These formidable trials will test this monarchy's resolve like never before, a reminder that history, though often repeating, can also forge unprecedented paths. As the film fades out, viewers are left with a final call to ponder the monarchy's perpetual dance between history and modernity, an ever-evolving saga that continues to thrive under the public's watchful eye.